Okay, I just wanted to put a little bit of a disclaimer in here before I continue with the video. Um, I'm I'm vegetarian. I'm not vegan. I do a lot of vegan cooking, um, but I just wanted to mention that in these meal plans, I personally eat eggs. So if you can find another protein replacement, if you're vegan, that's fine. But I just wanted to mention that this menu coming up is not entirely plant-based because I do have eggs in there. Okay, before anybody gets upset, I just wanted to mention that. So without further ado, here is my $5 meal challenge. Good morning. Still in my jammies. It's chilly, went down in the 50s this last night, and I'm having my coffee. Cheers. Best time of the morning, coffee time. Anyway, there's a challenge going around, and I thought I'd join it since I like to cook on the cheap and save some money. So some of the ladies that are doing this challenge are Sensible Living with Money Mom, Mornings with Granny, Jan from New York City Saves Money, and Rhoda Stone. Those are the 5 that I've watched. And the challenge is, if you only had $5 and that's it, $5, and you had to live on $5 for 3 days, what could you buy and what meals would you come up with? Well, I went online shopping at Walmart because I don't need any food right now, so I did a virtual search. And these are the things that I came up with. And I'll also do a post at the end of this video. I'll post the picture of what I got online. So I didn't actually buy these things, but here's what I came up with. And I did 2 of them. Now, you all know I'm plant-based, so I didn't buy any meat. I don't want any meat. So I'll go over these things with you. So you can get a bag of lentils or pinto beans for 98 cents. Let me see if this is better, because I have to read this backwards. Long grain white rice was 78 cents. A can of tomatoes with peppers, celery, and onions was 46 cents. I got 3 packs of ramen noodles. They were 18 cents a piece. Half a dozen eggs. They were 39 cents. 1 can of sliced potatoes. That was 50 cents. What does that say? Oh, 12 ounces of frozen mixed veggies, 12 ounces, and so hard to read backwards, 1 cucumber for 48 cents. So all that came to $4.97. Now my second option is similar, but a little different. So I would buy 1 bag of shredded coleslaw, tricolor. So you can get, that's $1.57. So you can get some carrots and I think red cabbage in there too. The pinto beans or the lentils was the same price, 98 cents. The rice and the beans, that was 78 cents. Now don't forget, rice and beans make a complete protein. So that takes care of the protein. 1 package of ramen. Again, half a dozen eggs. The can of tomatoes, same thing with the peppers, onions, and celery, and 1 can of the sliced potatoes, and there's the cabbage. Now, if you don't want to get the can of potatoes for this meal plan, you could get 1 container of buttermilk biscuits, and those were 48 cents. So those are 2 plant-based shopping lists that I came up with. So I will be back with the menu plan that I came up with for both of these things. I forgot to say the total for the first one is $4.97, and the total for the second one is $4.86. So, and that was 14 cents left over. If it had been a little less, then I would have gotten 2 packs of the ramens, but I couldn't find anything for 14 cents. I forgot to mention the challenge says that you already have condiments and spices and all that stuff. So that is not included in the challenge. This is just food for, for 3 days. So the first thing I would do, I would cook all the rice, I would cook all the beans and season them however you want to season them. You could make, you could cook them plain and then season some of them with a Asian flavor. You could season some of them with a Hispanic flavor, whatever your preference is, or make a variety for the 3 days because you need 3 lunches and 3 dinners. So use your seasonings and your spices and your condiments. So we're going to have to assume we have like mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup and, whatever condiments you usually keep. So I just went and looked because I do have a lot of these things in my pantry. So with a can of potatoes, there's 2.5 servings in 1 can of potatoes. The tomatoes, there's 3.5 servings in the tomatoes. The ramen, a package of ramen is 2 servings, and the lentils is actually 1/2 cup, and there's 14 servings in a bag of lentils, and I'm going to assume the beans are probably close to the same amount. So, and that's a choice. You can either have beans or lentils, whatever your preference is. They're both nutritious. So I just wanted to clarify that. So a lot of these things can be stretched for 3 days. Okay, so here is the plan for the meal plan for plan 1. Now your choice is you either cook up the pinto beans or the lentils, whichever you prefer. So this is what I came up with, and I'll post a picture of this at the end of the video too, if you have any interest. And I tried to come up with some healthy options. I don't eat a lot of processed foods, prepackaged foods and all that, so I tried to come up with something that was a little bit healthier and something that I would eat. Probably the worst thing on here is the ramen noodles, but they're pasta. So, and there's all different flavors. And even if you buy, like, if you're plant-based and you buy the chicken, you just use the noodles. You don't need to use the little packet. If you're not plant-based, then, whatever flavor they have is good. So you can also use that little packet as a seasoning packet for some of your other things. So this is what I came up with. So breakfast, I did 3 breakfasts, and lunch is going to be the same thing every day, and then the dinners are a variety. So let me see if I can read this backwards. So for breakfast, I have, now I'm keeping portion size in mind here. So if like the potatoes, it was, what was it? It was, well, I have it here somewhere. Okay, the potatoes was 2.5 servings of potatoes. So I went by serving size. So for breakfast day one, 1/3 of the can of potatoes and 1 egg. Well, actually the potatoes were 2.5 servings. So the second day, so you could use, you know, like a third, a half a can. The second day, I did 1 scrambled egg, mixed veggies, and diced potato. So you kind of scramble it all together. So that was second day breakfast. Third day breakfast was 1 scrambled egg with ramen noodles, and we have 3 packages of ramen noodles, and each package is 2 servings. So you could probably have as much as you want of that. And 1/3 of a can of tomatoes, because the tomatoes were 3.5 servings in a can. So lunch for all 3 days, I decided I would make a veggie soup with rice, beans, the other third of a can of the tomatoes, and ramen noodles. And that should make enough for lunch for 3 days. So, and your veggies you take from your frozen bag. So you need to make sure that you portion out your veggies so you get enough for all these meals. But it's a big bag. For dinners, the first day, noodle frittata. Use 2 of your 6 eggs, more veggies, and cut your cucumber in thirds and make yourself a little cucumber salad, because the cucumbers I'm going to be eating for dinner every day. The second meal would be a veggie bowl with rice, beans, or lentils, and 1/3, the last third of the can of your tomatoes, and diced cucumber that you could put on top of that, and then whatever dressing you like. And the third dinner would be fried rice. Use your last egg with veggies. You could use those up, and the other third of the cucumber you could make into a salad or slice it with salt and pepper, whatever your preference is. So that was meal plan 1 from this meal plan, this first one. So I'll be back in a little bit and I'll come up with meal plan number 2. Okay, this one was a little more challenging because all I had was the cabbage, shredded cabbage, and carrots, and red cabbage. It was the tricolor. So it was a little more challenging, but I came up with 3 days of semi-healthy meals. So here's what I came up with for breakfast on the 3 days. First day you have 1 egg and half a can of fried potatoes. Day 2, 1 egg with the veggies, cabbage, the mixed cabbage, and half a package of the ramen. And, you know, you can scramble that. Day 1, you can either scramble it or you can do sunny side up or over easy, whatever. And the third day, 1 egg with rice and beans. And you can either top the rice and beans with a fried egg, or you can scramble it all together, whatever your preference is, and then whatever seasoning you have. So remember, we have 6 eggs, so I used 3 of the eggs, half of the potatoes, and the coleslaw mix should be enough for all these meals for 3 days. So for lunch, I'm having another soup every day, but this time it's going to be cabbage soup. use up 1/3 of the can of tomatoes, the other half a can of potatoes, because there's 2.5 servings of potatoes in 1 can. And then you can add your beans or lentils, whichever you chose, and make enough of that for 3 meals. So for dinner, day 1 is cabbage and noodles. Use the other half of your ramen. You use the first half there, and 1 egg. Day 2 is a veggie bowl with rice and beans, 1/3 of the can of tomatoes. Let me think here. Am I using all the, yeah, that works. And coleslaw. And dinner number 3 is rice. Stir fry the cabbage with 2 eggs and 1/3 of the can of tomatoes. You can put that in with your rice and make it like a Spanish rice. And a bean salad. So you could do beans and put like Italian dressing or whatever, vinegar and oil, salt and pepper. So you can make a bean salad. So anyway, that's the menu I came up with Plan 2, $5. On this day, I spent $4.86. On the other day, I spent $4.97. So, and I feel like these meals are relatively healthy, and it might be a little mundane and boring, but you won't starve. So anyway, that's what I came up with my 3 days, $5 meal challenge. So if anybody else would like to partake in the challenge, make a video and post it. Put it in the comments below. I'm going to post the ladies that are in the challenge. I'll put a link to their channels below. So anyway, it can be done, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling and hungry, and I may even put these things together and try making those meals and seeing what I can come up with. All right, my friends, that's all I have for today, and I love you guys, abundant blessings, and I'll see you next time.